we treat ourselves here. Oh my god, it's just the best juice. I need more of it. I brought the whole jug here.
Two friends and they're trying to make a show and they're working every day, but it really turns out that it's tough.
Yo, I got Martinelli. So, it's Justin Jackson, your boy, your homie, your friend, your guy, and your pal. I'm here to talk to you today about some story, so you know what it is. It's a story time. Understand this though. Today on Story Time, we're gonna get real. Really real. Like oppression, systematic racism real. Like whoa real. Like yikes real. Like we're gonna get real because that's what happens in our world. Our world is very real. We gotta go there. Okay? So I'm just letting you know, forewarning, it's about to get real. Okay? That's what's gonna happen. We're talking about today New Sanctum. New Sanctum. Alright, now New Sanctum. Had to finish that AJ. You see my eyes crossed because it was so good. Now, New Sanctum is the setting in which our story takes place. It is a neo-state, which is kind of like a city-state, but it grows faster and it's bigger. All right, so take the concept of the city-state, but it's like vastly bigger and it's just huge and it grows in less than 100 years. Like it's nuts. Because futuristic technology and blah, 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 pistons and guns. Sanctum is built in a continent in our world called Axiom. It is the primary city on that continent, basically the capital, if you would think of that in a way. Home of companies that have revolutionized the world as we know it, like Medellin and Oni, both of which have fingers all over the world because of how powerful they are. And Medellin is also responsible for the incredible speed and growth of New Sanctum. We're going to talk about structurally how this city was built, why it's called a neo-state. So, instead of growing outwardly like almost every city or state or terrain that you know of, this city grew up, which is thanks to Medellin, 100%. Medellin created the whole premise of basically levels. Like, assume that the city is like a hotel. If you look at our cover photo, it's literally a picture of New Sanctum. It's almost like a big old structurally looking pyramid thing, which is the city. It's just super vast. And it just goes up and 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 up. And at the top is the Medellin building. So on each level, we have people, cities, buildings, not cities, but they could technically be cities because of how big they are, but they're not. They're all part of the one city, New Sanctum. City-states, excuse me. So it's basically set up by levels, and coincidentally, I don't think it's coincidentally, actually. I think it's based off of the political agendas that are in place. It's become a physical representation of their hierarchy. So Aura users and Aura user sympathizers are most likely going to be on the lower levels and very poor. And then the wealthy elite humans are most likely going to be at the upper levels, right? 9 times out of 10, you're not going to find a billionaire human down here. Keeping that all in play, it's grown upwards instead of outwards. So it's become a physical structure to the point where New Sanctum is no longer just a city-state. It's literally the representation of humanity. Humans are great. Here's our structure to prove it. All right, so we got to take it all the way back to before 100 years ago, right? When New Sanctum was just called Sanctum. It was founded by a large group of people that were humans at the same point in which Aura users became kind of like a thing. Like they have always kind of been there, but in history, they were always called like the shaman or the medicine woman or the psychic or the blah, blah, blah. Here and there. They always were here and there. But then as soon as these groups of people started addressing them as a collective, like, oh, these are Aura users, or oh, these are superpowered cool guys that do cool things and like to hang out and play bingo on Saturdays. As soon as they addressed them as that group, people were afraid, right? They were like, whoa, these guys are too powerful. We can't control that. We can't control their power, and they just come out of nowhere. You know, they're dangerous. They could kill us. I saw one spit fire that could have been directed at my baby. What if my baby was right in his mouth and he blew fire at my baby? My baby would die. That's not okay. It's not cool. So these people freaking out. We're like, yo, we're just gonna make a safe haven for humans. Boop, built it up. It's called Sanctum, right? It's all humans. They're having a great time. Metagen, this company that's like super into technology and is like literally on the forefront of innovation constantly. They're like, yo, we got you. We're all about this Sanctum thing. We love humans and we love humans. So, boom, team united, right? Now, humans at this point realize, oh no, we can give birth to Aura users. Why didn't that click earlier? You know what I mean? It should have clicked. It didn't. It clicked now. Now they're like, now that we've created a haven for ourselves, we can't just keep exiling Aura users as soon as they're born, because some of the humans we have in our city care about their Aura user kids. Like, what the crap? Like, some of them care, and then like others, even though they do throw them out, it's like that becomes a thing, and maybe the Aura user kid knows he was born in your Sanctum, and then he tries to come back, and that's a whole big thing. So as the city grew, they had to switch their tactics, right? So they started switching their tactics to more of a politically oppressive, manipulative, and basically racist standpoint, in a way, or agenda. That's a better word, agenda. So if you're an Aura user, life's going to just be harder for you no matter what. You're most likely going to be persecuted for things whether you did them or not, and you are going to most likely not have a parent in the house, because if you're a human in New Sanctum and you give birth to an Aura user, that's basically slandering your own name, right? Having an Aura user child is embarrassing. So what do? You give it to the orphanage, and that kid lives their life most likely in that orphanage in the lower levels. So no matter what level you are on, if you are an Aura user, you're most likely going back down to the bottom, no matter what, because that is the culture of the world, and it keeps the hierarchy stable. You know what I mean? Because if people up here are afraid of having an Aura user, because everyone else is going to be like, ew, you have an Aura user? You put them back down there, and then you continue to clean up your own hierarchy, right? So in that sense, they're able to, well, one, the whole political structure is Aura users suck. We don't like them, and they're most likely the criminal. And also, if they got mad moolah, they can give it to us. You feel me? So this is mostly just the reality that people are having in this world, right? If you're an Aura user, your life is just going to be a little bit hard or super hard. Those are the only options, really. Which begs the question, why are these super powered beings, one, being oppressed, and two, why don't they fight back? Why don't they fight back? They literally have powers. Well, one, they're being oppressed because they're outnumbered. They're the minority. They're the minority, and they're a scary minority, which is why they're being oppressed. Because based on me and Ethan's conversations, sorry, my leg is itchy. Based on me and Ethan's conversations, human beings react to things that they fear in three ways, and usually in this order. One, they want to control it. If they can't control it, they run away from it. And if they can't run away from it, they kill it. Those are the three things that they do, based on my experience. If you can't control whatever this thing is that you fear, which is like a wolf, you can't control it. You can't domesticate it, right? But we can. That's a dog. But if we can't domesticate a wolf, we try to run away from it. But if we can't run away from it, we'll kill it. That's usually how it works. So that's kind of where we are with humans in relationship to auras, Aura users. They can't control them because they want rights just like other people. You can't run away from them because you can give birth to them. But killing them is still an option. We just have to make sure that we do it in a way that people aren't like, oh my God, you're killing people. You know, if you can dehumanize them, then killing them becomes easier. So that's kind of where we are with that aspect. And for the Aura users, it becomes a very difficult conversation to have with themselves, which is, do we try to fight for what we believe in, and by doing so fuel their narrative of dangerous monster, or do we try to beat them at their game and risk losing while simultaneously having to wait to be considered a person or a human, you know? So the dichotomy of those two choices really is what's fueling all of Next Guardian. So this video is going to be long. I apologize. I love Martinelli so much. It's the best juice in the world. And if anybody tells me otherwise, I promise you, I will never let you use one of my pencils. I won't. You'll never get to use one of my pencils in your life, ever. That's basically it, I think. There's probably way more to talk about in New Sanctum, because there's literally so much to talk about in New Sanctum. But we don't have all that time. So for right now, I hope this is a good enough tidbit. You know, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you can, if you would like to. Well, no, just subscribe. If you don't want to, subscribe. If you do want to, subscribe. If you're allergic to shellfish, subscribe. And if you're not, subscribe. If you're a boy, girl, or not boy or girl. And if you are a candle, subscribe. All of these things, subscribe. If you're not a candle, please subscribe. If you're a cloud, subscribe. If you are not a cloud, subscribe. If you enjoy apple juice, subscribe. And if you enjoy apple juice, subscribe. And if you think apple juice is the worst juice, subscribe. And then email me so that we can talk about this, because somebody hurt you and that's not fair. As always, I'm Justin Jackson. Martinelli's is my spine.